My humble obeisances. Uh, Firstly, thank you all for to all the JEPA leads for their JEPA, and thank you all for giving me this opportunity to speak few lines from the Srimad Bhagavatam today. So let us start by reciting the prayers, and then we'll move on to reciting the verse. Narayanam namaskritya naram shaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiraye नष्टप्रायेषु अबध्वेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्ते भवति नैष्टिकी नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताकस्वामिनिति नामिने नमो आचार्यपादाय निताय गौरपतधामताय नगरग्रामतारिणे नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः हरे कृष्णा. So today we are going to go through two shlokas from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 10, verse 18 and verse 19. Verse number 18 is relatively small. It has no purport. So we'll be discussing both of these verses together. So I will recite the shloka word to word meaning and read out the translation as well. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.10.18. उद्धवा सात्यकिश्चैव व्यजने परमाद्भुते विकीर्यमाना कुसुमै रेजे मधुपतिः पति. Word to word meaning. Uddhava, a cousin brother of Krishna's, Satyaki, his driver, Cha, and Eva, certainly, Vyajane, engaged in fanning, Parama Adbhute, decorative, Vikiryamanaha, seated on scattered, Kusumai, flowers all around, Reje, commanded, Madhupatihi, the master of Madhu, Pati, on the road. Translation: Uddhava and Satyaki began to fan the Lord with decorated fans, and the Lord, as the master of Madhu, seated on scattered flowers, commanded them along the road. Verse number 19. आश्रुयन्ता शिशा सत्यास् तत्र तत्र द्विजेरितः नानुरूपानुरूपश्च निर्गुणस्य गुणात्मनः. Word to word meaning. Ashruyanta, being heard. Ashisha, benediction. Satya, all truths. Tatra, here. Tatra, there. Vija iritaha, sounded by learned brahmanas. Na, not. Anurupa, befitting. Anurupaha, fitting. Cha, also. Nirgunasya, of the absolute. Guna atmanaha, playing the role of a human being. Translation: it was being heard here and there that the benedictions being paid to Krishna were neither befitting nor unbefitting, because they were all for the Absolute, who was now playing the part of a human being. Purport: at places there were sounds of Vedic benediction aiming at the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. The benedictions were fitting in the sense that the Lord was playing the part of a human being, as if a cousin of Maharaja Yudhishthira, but they were also unfitting because the Lord is absolute and has nothing to do with any kind of material relativities. He is nirguna, or there are no material qualities in him, but he is full of transcendental qualities. In the transcendental world, there is nothing contradictory, whereas in the relative world, everything has its opposite. In the relative world, white is the opposite conception of black, but in the transcendental world, there is no distinction between white and black. So, here in this verse, just when you go through it in the first glance, a question strikes you which is based on the word nirgunasya. So, generally speaking, in our native languages, we say someone who is well mannered as gunasya. You know, in Telugu we say atanu gunavantudu, or in Kannada we say gunavanta. So it indicates that he is someone special and he is a person of good habits and culture. But here it is the opposite. The word used here is nirgunasya. So how do we understand this? So which is better, nirguna or guna? So according to Ramanujacharya, a person, if you call him nirguna, he is someone who has no material attachments. And all the Shastras, they also confirm that nirguna is always higher. So, in short, if someone is addressed as Gunavanta, then that means he is in the mode of goodness, and there is always a chance for him to fall down to the mode of passion or ignorance. But if someone is termed as Nirguna, he is actually in the mode of pure goodness, and it is above the three modes of material nature. And Prabhupada says that it is totally spiritual and transcendental, and it is also above the three modes of material nature. And on the same note, Prabhupada also refers to the chapter 14th of Bhagavad Gita, where he mentions that if you are in the mode of goodness, you are not supposed to be satisfied with it. So when you're satisfied by being in the mode of goodness, that is actually a sign of danger. And the difference between goodness and pure goodness is that just goodness has a tinge of passion and ignorance, whereas pure ignorance is not. And in the previous verses, like yesterday's verse, we came to know about the uh, various kinds of umbrella that the Lord is offered. And we also came to know about the term named Gudakesha, that is conquering the sleep. So Prabhupada continues in the same lecture saying that a person who is advanced in spiritual service of the Lord, he cannot sleep. And if you see all the Goswamis, all the pure devotees, and even Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they all of them they used to sleep only for 2 hours at max. And in the purport of this verse, we see that such pure devotees, the Brahmanas, they are glorifying the Lord. But as a fact, if they glorify or not glorify, the Lord is obviously the absolute truth. He does not need all of them. But because he is come in this material world in the human form, such glorification is needed. So that is what Srila Prabhupada is conveying in the purport. And here there's another doubt that comes up. So here we can see that devotees are glorifying the Lord. So is it that only pure devotees can glorify the Lord? Because there is actually one Alvar named Periya Alvar. He blessed the Lord. So if you imagine, it is actually a very big thing. Someone is blessing the Lord. They are saying the Lord have a long life, have a healthy life. So like this, he continues to give blessings. So that is not to be mistaken. That is actually the deep love shown by the devotee towards the Lord. So this is actually what the glance of the chapter also says, how the different devotees they are reacting to the Lord who's leaving Hastinapur. And if you see, it shows all the reactions. Like Arjuna, he's running with a special umbrella towards the Lord, and Satyaki is also seated already. We can see Uddhava who is fanning the Lord. We can see all the ladies, they are seeing the Lord from the terrace, and they are in tears because the Lord is leaving. And there are also some devotees who are glorifying the Lord and singing various bhajans like that. And it is also said that these glories that the Brahmanas are talking about are actually better than the Vedic hymns. So, like this, the situation at the place is being built. So, like, moving on further to the next point, what we need to understand is that the whole world is actually running after one important thing, that is love. And we want to give love and we also want to be loved. That is actually the quality of the soul. So love is actually not something from the material body, and whatever we are showing to the material body is actually lust. And the love is actually something that is soul to soul. And this love, it expands only when we connect to the Lord. And without connecting to the Lord, we can exhibit only lust. So the connection goes like this. So love is connected to the soul, and the soul is connected to Krishna. And because the Lord says, Mamai Mamsha Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, or everything is part and parcel of me and nothing is independent. So when we are connected by proper means, that is the Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, and we practice by following their instructions, then slowly one becomes Nirgunasya. And when we become Nirgunasya, then we can exhibit love. So just like how the devotees here, they are exhibiting love to the Supreme Lord, that's how even we can exhibit love if we become Nirgunasya. Until we come to that stage of Nirgunasya, we'll have the pangs of this material world. So that means there'll always be pain, lots of sufferings, lots of pain in this material world. And even devotees also go through pain. And even pure devotees, they also go through pain. But you might ask, like, pure devotees are in the stage of nirguna, so why do they undergo pain? But the thing here is that pure devotees are paradukka dukki. So one good example is in a morning walk, Prabhupada, he immediately he got a lot of pain on his forehead, and Prabhupada sat down holding his head. And a devotee comes to Prabhupada and he asks Prabhupada, why are you holding your head, Prabhupada? And Prabhupada tells that I have a very bad headache. And then the devotee says, he's surprised to hear this. And he says, Prabhupada, even you have headache? You're such a transcendental person. Um, so how will you also get headache? So then Prabhupada says that you don't know what it is like to manage the whole world, preaching to the whole world. You cannot experience that. So that is what Srila Prabhupada tells the devotee. So that means here a pure devotee is a paradukha dukhi, and his worry is how to help others, how to remove the people from ignorance, how to connect the people to Krishna, and how to make them happy and deliver them from this material world. So like this, we see how pure devotees they are actually in the stage of nirgunasya, and Srila Prabhupada is in nirgunasya. The Lord is obviously nirgunasya. Even all the devotees present at the situation, they are also at the stage of nirgunasya. And even Hanuman, he's also actually in the state of nirgunasya. So there is one small pastime related to this incident. It shows Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's testing Murari Gupta. So Murari Gupta was always, chanting the names of Lord Rama. And Mahaprabhu one day calls him and tells him that, why are you always chanting the names of only the names of Lord Rama? Why don't you chant the names of Lord Krishna and worship Krishna as well? Then Murari Gupta, he tells that, yes, from today I'll try to worship Krishna, and he goes back to his home. Then the next morning, he comes to Lord Mahaprabhu, but he's crying. And he says, I cannot follow your instruction. The whole night I was trying my best to chant Krishna's name, but I could not do it. I was chanting only Rama, Rama, and Rama. And I tried, but I cannot remove Rama from my mind and Rama from my heart. And it is not possible. And then he, further he says that your instruction is to chant Krishna's name, and I'm not following your instruction. That means I'm disrespecting you, and I'm not able to change also. So please give me permission. I want to quit this body with your permission and your blessings. So that is what Munari Gupta goes and tells Mahaprabhu. And then Mahaprabhu, he becomes very happy and he just confesses to Munari Gupta saying that I was just testing you. And here Mahaprabhu actually wanted to show the entire world Hanuman's bhakti towards Lord Ram. And Munari Gupta is actually an incarnation of Hanuman. So then the pastime goes on. Mahaprabhu takes his lotus feet and with his toe, he writes on Munari Gupta's forehead the letters Rama. So this is the thing. This is the beauty between the Lord and Lord's devotees. So this love, it is actually an energy. It is an energy connected to soul. And the energy will manifest only when the soul is connected to the super soul, who is Lord Krishna. And then only the love can be given to others. Otherwise, it is not possible. Without connecting to the Lord, the statement what uh, Prabhupada uses is, it is not possible to repose love on anybody. So the first thing is you have to repose love on Krishna, and then it is possible to continue. So that is also the constitutional position of the soul, which is to serve the super soul. And on the same note, if we observe in the olden days, in the early Vedic education, the guru actually connects the disciple to God and he educates him about the various aspects of the uh, God consciousness in the Gurukula. You take like any education in the Vedic life, maybe you take astrology, it's connected to God, astronomy, it is also connected to God, and you take medicine, it is connected to God, music is connected to God, even dance is connected to God. So, like this, you take anything, you're keeping the center towards God or Krishna. And by doing this, it means that all your five senses, somehow or the other, they are engaged or they're connected towards God. So that is actually the real definition of samskara. And the definition which the speaker gives is that what goes inside our body or what we put inside our consciousness, that is actually what creates samskara in a person. So when we say he's got a good samskara or he's got a good mannerism, so we are actually referring to his intellect. So that is the actual education, or that is the Gurukula education, where keeping everything God centric. So by doing this, the whole society will be peaceful and happy because everybody is connected to God and everybody wants to be happy. And Krishna is actually putting out the formula. So if you want to be happy, Krishna says, be connected to me. And Prabhupada also further, he mentions two traits that allow you to be happy in this world. So the first one is a steady mind fixed on the Lord, and the second one is transcendental intelligence. So when you develop a steady mind and you develop transcendental intelligence, when these two things are there, you'll have peace of mind. And when you have peace of mind, you'll become happy. You will not have any stress, you won't have any tension. And we know of the famous shloka on the same term. This is Akama Sarvakama Moksha Kama Udaraye Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yajate Purusham Param. So, like this, all auspiciousness will come to you, and it will be a gradual transformation of the heart. It begins by anarthas, it goes away, and then all the gunas go away, and then one becomes nirgunasya. So, in short, to summarize, be it in whatever situation, you need to surrender unto the Lord, and that is when Lord takes care of you. And when this happens, all our anarthas will be removed. You will be moved out from the three modes of material nature and proceed to become Nirgunasya. So I was listening to a class on this verse, and the speaker said the best example for this particular verse is Parikshit Maharaj. Actually, he was cursed to die in 7 days. And when he was cursed, he'll die in 7 days. He was not disturbed at all. And in fact, he actually had the power to curse the Brahmana back. Parikshit Maharaj, he could curse Shringi back, but he never did that. He took it. He took it as Lord's arrangement. So if a man is going to die, what should he do? That is what is being conveyed over here, that we are all going to die some or the other day. No one can escape death. So at the time of death, we should not, think of money. We should not think about your position, family, or anything else. So this is what is being conveyed in this particular verse. And moving on to the next set of lines from the purport, I'll read it out from the slide. Therefore, the sounds of benediction uttered by the learned Brahmanas here and there appear to be contradictory in relation with the absolute person, but when they are applied to the absolute person, they lose all contradiction and become transcendental. One example might make clear this idea. Lord Shri Krishna is sometimes described as a thief. He is very famous amongst his pure devotees as the Makhan Chora. He used to steal butter from the houses of neighbors at Vrindavan in his early age. Since then, he is famous as a thief. But in spite of his being famous as a thief, he is worshipped as a thief. Whereas in this mundane world, a thief is punished and is never praised. Hence, he is the absolute personality of Godhead. Everything is applicable to him, and still, in spite of all contradictions, he is the supreme personality of Godhead. So, here, what we understand is that Lord Krishna is absolute and he is to be worshipped with great care. And the reason for this is very simple, because he is the supreme personality of Godhead. And from the previous verse, we can see how the royal persons present at the scene, like Uddhava, Arjuna, they are all absorbed in serving the Lord. So here, a practical aspect is being highlighted, which is serving the Lord, or how we need to approach the Lord in terms of worship. And he must always be given the best of attention from our side. And a very good example of this is the ISKCON London. So in the lecture I was listening to, Prabhu actually gave an example of the ISKCON London temple, where they daily offer a sweet called Sandesh to Radha Gokulananda. But these Sandesh sweets, they are made in such a way that there are beautiful paintings on them, or sceneries, like waterfalls, other sceneries. All of them are made on these sweets so that it grabs the attention of the Lord. So, like this, the Lord should always be offered the best of everything. And we need to always be careful when doing such things, because we are not doing it for ourselves, we are doing it for the Lord. So, the concept of I should be removed. And there's one incident that happens to Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan. So actually, when Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, a devotee was singing bhajans and hymns. And all the devotees who were assembled there, they were praising him, saying that he was singing so well. But Prabhupada immediately says, "Who is the demon who is singing? Just stop him." And Prabhupada said this because Prabhupada saw it. What Prabhupada saw was, Prabhupada actually asked the devotees there, is he singing to satisfy the Guru, or is he singing to show everyone that he can sing so well and to get praise from everyone? So immediately Prabhupada recognized this, and Prabhupada said, "Who is the demon singing? Stop him immediately." So like this, we need to keep in mind that though the Lord, he has descended here amongst ordinary beings, he is still the supreme person. And as Prabhupada conveys in the purport, that the things that we do for the Lord must be done with the sole intention of serving and pleasing the Lord, and not for gaining something for oneself. that should be the mood of a devotee, and that is also the other side or other phase of this chapter, which is explaining the various reactions of devotees when the Lord is moving to Dwaraka. So, to summarize the verse, what we discussed, firstly, we saw that Uddhava and Satyaki they bought decorated fans and began to fan the Lord, who is seated on a flowered seat and commanding them to move. Then we also saw how the various devotees are praising the Lord and glorifying Him. And we learnt about the word Nirgunasya, meaning something beyond the three modes of material nature. And we also discussed about the two traits that Srila Prabhupada mentioned, which is to have transcendental intelligence and a steady mind fixed on the Lord's lotus feet to lead a stress free life. And finally, we touched a practical aspect of bhakti life, which is to have our aim focused on pleasing and serving the Lord rather than performing service to gain something for oneself. And moving on in the further verses, we will come across how the ladies present at the scene are glorifying the Lord from the terrace and performing various kinds of services in the following verses. So, with this, I would like to conclude today's session. I thank you all for your patient listening and for giving me this opportunity to speak today. Hare Krishna.